Hello, everyone. The Kentucky Patriot here. Going to try something a little bit different, a little bit new to me anyway. Just trying to try to do a live video here. And what I'd like to do is maybe just answer some of the questions that you all have asked here recently. And please don't get upset with me if I don't get to your question or, hello, Pro Carry Trucker. How are you, sir? Good to see you, pal. If I don't get to your question, it's unintentional. I just tried to go through and just get some questions that some of you all had asked and tried to get some that maybe I hadn't discussed in times past or just something that you all had brought up. And hey, Lou, how are you, partners? Good to see you, buddy. Lou Blaine, my coffee drinking buddy. Hey, Lou, this cup's for you. And my other buddy, Alaskan Ballistics. I've actually got to do some videos with him. I was honored to do so. Appreciate you, Alaskan Ballistics. Such a good guy, such a great channel. I love that guy. Appreciate all three of you guys stopping in. But what I'm going to try to do, maybe the format is maybe answer some of these questions and any questions that you have. So basically my channel, you know me by now. I'm not a professional. I've never claimed to be. So I'm not Paul Harrell. I'm not what you call a professional. I don't edit videos. If I make mistakes, I mumble, I stumble over words. I transpose words all the time. If I miss a shot, I miss a shot. Now, the other day I did have to edit a video because I was doing it while I was opening a tack pack box. I couldn't redo it and the phone rang, which I was going to just roll with it, but they started leaving a message, so I did have to edit. But in general, I'm trying to edit videos. But what makes this a little bit different is I can actually, instead of in the comment section, I can answer and talk to you live. So I want to try to answer some of these questions that some viewers had left on previous videos in the comment section. And then as well, anything that you have I see Lou Blaine is drinking him some coffee too. See, a lot of people reserve coffee for morning. I drink coffee daylight to dark. So I'm going to take a sip. Anything you all want to ask in the comment section. A lot of you guys like Alaskan Ballistics, Pro Carry Trucking, all you guys are shooters. Lou Blaine anyway. So any experience you want to share, anything that you want to talk about, any of your experiences, whatever the case may be relative to the topic or whatever, I would certainly love to hear from you guys as well. So we'll get right into this. This was somebody that asked us when me and New York Prepper was going live. He said, could you and New York Prepper give out your top 5 rifles for deer hunting and hogs, as well as your top 5 tips? Firearms are great for getting food, having a good time, but most of all, teaching our next generation is key to keep it going. Well, I will not try to pretend to be something that I'm not. Now, I have always wanted to hog hunt. I would love to hog hunt. My boy wants to really bad, and I told him when he gets a little bit older, we get a chance, I will try to take him hog hunting. So now Alaskan Ballistics may be able to answer this. Some of these other guys better than me, but I have never been hog hunting. So for me to give my advice or an opinion on a hog hunt really wouldn't be very genuine because I've never been on one. But I can tell you about deer hunting. For years, the go-to caliber, at least in my neck of the woods, everybody hunted with a 30-30 and 30-06, and we were no exception to the rule. But really, even though, I mean, my dad, even before I was born, he was the kind of guy that take vacation days to go deer hunting. So I've always been around deer hunting. But really, even that question would probably be better reserved for somebody that lives like in Ohio or other places where they have long shots, because really in my area, I hunt on Dad's farm, and there's probably not a 100-yard shot on his whole farm. So really, ballistics and long range and the trajectory, none of that really comes into play. So I hunted with slugs for years. So, really anything in my neck of the woods would work great, any of your typical rifles. But I'll tell you what I have been doing. The last few years I've been hunting with a 243, and my boy John with the sling Timmy BYN got us. We've been taking it, and he's able to shoot it. He's 8 years old, has very little to no recoil. Does a great job, puts him down very ethically. So 30-30, 30-06, 243 are all fine calibers. Any 30 caliber, 308, whatever the case may be. And then my uncle hunted with a 45-70, and it worked great because, again, there's no long shots around here. So a lot of guys hunt with a 270. Really, around here it's pretty forgiving because, like I said, you're not going to have a long-range shot. So sorry I couldn't answer more about the hog hunting, but the deer hunting, probably any of those calibers would would suit you very well, or even, like I said, a 12 gauge slug. In Pennsylvania, 30-30 and a 30-06 is very popular, is what Lou Blaine said. And never hunted hogs, but yeah, 45-70 is what Pro Carry Trucker said here. Very good. Now, Alaskan Ballistics, of course, in Alaska, he's got some big game and probably a lot of long range shots. And he says, or AR-10 308 Savage, Henry Lever Action. Which my grandpa was a big Henry Lever Action fan as well. Before he died, he loved Henry. He had a lot of them. He had the 44. He had 22 Magnum. He was a 30-30. I think I used 30-30 in one of those videos. He was a huge Henry fan. Another guy said he would like to see me lift up the name of Jesus Christ and to share my testimony of coming to salvation. About like everybody else, I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger, kind of rowdy teenage boy. You know how it is. Mom and dad went to church. They invited me when I was 20, and I gave my heart to the Lord then, and it kept me out of a lot of trouble. I was, done a lot of things I regretted, headed down the wrong path. So thankful. I give my life to the Lord when I did, and it's been great ever since. Kept me out of a lot of trouble. So I am so thankful for that. Okay, that is a good point too. Pro Carry Trucker said not allowed to use a rifle for deer here in Lincoln. Now, I think that Pro Carry Trucker, remind me, are you in Ohio? And there's my buddy, Whit Docks, been a friend of mine since high school. We fishing together. Illinois. Okay, I couldn't remember. Sorry. But in Ohio, I think they might have changed that, but for years you weren't allowed to use a rifle either. You had to use a slug, but they have a lot of long range. And I think you could also use maybe a straight wall case like a 45-70, but you wasn't allowed to use a neck down case like a 30-06 or something. I'm thinking, or 243. I can't remember the laws in Ohio, but anyway, but slugs work really well, for close range on a deer. But sorry, I get so sidetracked. Somebody else asked me here, said, I'd love to hear about yourself more on a personal level, what you do for a living. How do you keep yourself in shape? Well, thank you. Where do you go to shoot? And without giving up too much personal information, of course. Okay, well, by trade, I'm a licensed funeral director and embalmer. I have been for 20 years. Worked in the funeral business all my life, my adult life, right out of high school. But at the beginning of this year, I did quit my job. I making millions off YouTube now, and with all these millions of dollars, I no longer needed to work. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, my small channel. I'm kidding. No, I did quit my job at the first of the year. The funeral business, it's days, nights, evenings, weekends, holiday, and last Christmas, I literally worked all day, and I thought I can't do this. So I kept my license up, so I still help different funeral homes, different friends in the funeral business, keep my license up. So I do work in it some, but I did quit my job, bought a local business with my cousin, and when we run it, and then I work for a company for behavioral health now. So got a lot better hours. I still work in the funeral business, but not like I used to. How do I keep myself in shape? I'm not where I want to be, but I do try to. I go to the gym 3 times a week if at all possible. In the summertime, I do try to get my cardio in by fun exercises, swimming. I enjoy, swimming, the outdoors, hiking, running. I do jog. We still try to train in martial arts and everything that we can to try to keep ourselves, in shape the best we can. I do try to eat pretty healthy. Fried foods and sweets are my downfall, so I do try to balance diet and exercise. It's a little harder this time of year, with cardio because it gets dark. Sometimes I get in from work, but I do try to go to the gym. And where do I shoot? 99.9% of the time, it's up at my dad's farm. He's got a farm about 20 minutes from here, so that's usually where we go. I live in a kind of a subdivision type area, so I've got some neighbors fairly close. So I can't really shoot much here at the house, so I usually go to dad's. So again, good seeing Wick Docs. He's got a YouTube channel. It's really grown a lot, and he's a really good guy. I've known him for years, so please check him out if you would. I appreciate you and your kind words, Pro Carry Trucker. So I have let a lot of people down. Yes, I have. Lou. That's what people used to kid me all the time. They said, "This is the guy. It's the last guy that'll ever let you down." Tim Robinson, so good to see you. The funeral business is a young man's game. You speak like a man from experience. So I take it you probably either worked at a funeral home or helped somebody out, or you was in the corner service, or yes, you are exactly right. I go a night or two without sleep when you're in your 20s. It ain't no big deal. But now I'm in my 40s. You start going several nights without sleep, and that's why I look the way. There's all these wrinkles. See all this gray hair and this gray in the beard and these wrinkles, and that's why I'm in a bad mood all the time. See, that's why I'm so hateful. Life is too short to work yourself to death and miss your family so much. Amen. Amen. Yeah, you kids are on little ones, and I try to be a dad. Try to stay involved in my kids' life. They're in a lot of sports, extracurricular activities with the school and church, and I try to stay involved with all of that. Alaskan Ballistic, so good to see you again. I appreciate you. And another one said, I would really appreciate videos helping new gun owners how to maximize their protection and safety in a cost-effective manner. I would love to see something on how you can spend X amount of dollars on this, and but then you can also spend a little bit less on something else, and it's almost as good, and you can use the savings on something else. Lots of other channels pretty much go with the philosophy of nothing is too expensive when protecting your family, which isn't realistic given the fact that there are other basic necessities that also must be paid for. Right now, my concern is home defense, specifically on how much value an expensive pistol light provides versus a cheaper one. Ditto for shotgun light. Similar for optics. Should I suck up the cost, or should I set aside some of the money for a few extra boxes of ammo and practice more? I'm almost wondering about carry holsters. Okay, I'm going to stop right here and start answering some of these before I go too far. But real quick, when he's asking about the philosophy of if you got X amount of dollars to spend, what should you spend it on and where? And a pistol light. Now, I'm not saying this because I reviewed it. I don't get any kickback. I don't get any money. I don't get anything for this. But those Aegis, I think I'm pronouncing those right. I've actually done some reviews on those. I have a weapon-mounted light, and I also have a handheld light, and they were cheap, like $35 to $50, and they got rechargeable batteries. They're very bright. My little boy using the frog. He loves the frog hunt, and we're hillbillies. He used to frog gig, but now that he's older, he's got a 22 pistol, but now he shoots him, and he'll hold that light, or I'll hold it for him, and he'll shoot. And it's a fantastic light, and it's very cheap. So I would get a good quality light if that's what you're looking for, but you don't have to break the bank to get a good light. Or should he get a few extra boxes of ammo and practice more? I would lean a little bit more toward ammo, because nobody ever says, gee, I wish I had less ammo. I heard Paul Harrell say that, and I've used that phrase a lot because that is certainly true. I'm not against having a light, but your gun will still work without a light, or with a cheaper light. Your gun will not work without ammo. I mean, it's absolutely useless without ammo. So ammo is important, and training all you can would certainly be important. And he said ditto for a shotgun light. Be the same principle there. And one about carry holsters for home use in my home, around my property, or on the range. Well, if you're not talking about like a concealed carrier inside the waistband holster, it depends what you're talking about. Now, my grandpa, he was old school. When I say old school, I mean old school. He carried a big 357 Magnum revolver with him when he was on the farm and when he was on the riding lawnmower. And he literally had the big leather cowboy style. I mean, he loved Gunsmoke, and he loved all the old John Wayne, Clint Eastwood westerns. And that's what he would do. And he would mow grass. He lived out on the farm with my dad. My mama died. He moved up on the farm with dad, and that's how he'd mow his grass. And it was comfortable, and he loved it, and thought it was cool. But now I carry that Uncle Mike's. It's a real cheap holster. It's a soft when I'm out doing stuff like that, when I'm mowing grass and weed eating. So something like that, that's cheap and it's comfortable. And even like right now around the house, a lot of times I don't carry a gun on me, but I'll have one right beside of me. And sometimes I will carry one on me, but a lot of times if I'm in for the night and I'm sitting in my lazy boy, I don't really want something on me. I'll just have it within arm's reach. So I hope that helps you. And any of you guys that want to chime in, yeah, I would absolutely appreciate any of your all's thoughts, ideas, experiences. So any of you guys want to chime in, OLID is good for the money. I absolutely agree. Tim says he's saving up for a new gun or spend it on ammo for shooting fun. I'm trying to read some of these comments. Home defense, nothing wrong with a Steven Savage 12 gauge. Check out Kentucky Patriot's video on birdshot for home defense. Thank you, partner. He says a DeSantis holster is a good holster from Pro Carry Trucker, Premium Hollow Points, or something like Plano Winchester, Remington Hollow Points. Reading some of your guys here, Tim and Pro Carry Trucker and Alaskan Blessings. Appreciate you guys chiming in and helping. I mean, I got a lot of respect for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are, you're carry guys. You shoot a lot. You're hunters, and you got a wealth of knowledge too. And I certainly appreciate that. And he says, most of the stuff I see on the line presumes concealed carry and advertised features. I don't think I need other stuff warning about the effectiveness of 22 in home defense. Okay. I just actually done a video on 22 for home defense. Now, here's what you'll have to decide if you actually want that bullet to expand or not. I know that sounds funny because obviously you do a 9 or 40, but on a 22, a lot of people are worried that if it does expand, because a lot of times you won't get expansion out of a pistol length barrel on your 22. They're geared more for rifle. So, you'll get good expansion out of your rifle 22, but you won't out of your pistol. However, my last video, I found some ammo that would expand and expanded really well. So you'll have to decide if you want that expansion or not, or do you want to make sure it gets a little bit deeper penetration, because if that bullet expands too much in a lot of clothing, it may not, some people may be concerned whether it'll get to where it wants to go or where you want to go, I should say. So, because he said, I live in a home full of women, and I was thinking of arming them, but I don't think they would go for a bigger caliber. That's actually a very good question. Should I even bother? Sorry for the long list. My general problem is that I'm still at the stage where every answer I get just begs more questions, and lots of people with answers also have agendas. I'm sure I'm not alone, and people in my boat really appreciate getting some plain answers from somebody that knows what they're talking about. Well, I appreciate you saying that, but you probably think way too highly of me. Thanks for this, and God bless you. Well, what I would say about ladies is everybody's different, okay? But when we got married, my wife had never shot a gun. And then she thought maybe when she was a kid, she might have with her dad once a 22, but she wasn't even sure. So, of course, when she married me, she started out with BB guns, 22s. Well, she progressed on her own, and she enjoys it, and she likes shooting. I think what gives people a bad experience with a gun is when somebody hands them this little short 2-ounce airweight, 357 Magnum with, that literally weighs nothing. And they put a heavy 357 Magnum load in there and they shoot it, and it's a terrible experience and they hate it and they don't want, but if you move them up slow and get them used to it, let them shoot things they enjoy. My wife, I mean, we was down there with Paul and Adam from the Hootie Hoo channel, and my wife, I mean, even on video, she was shooting 50 AEs. I mean, she shot the 454 Casull. She shoot a 45-70, 12 gauge with 3-inch Magnum. So what I'm saying is they can do it, but you'll just have to get them used to it. You can't go to the range today and give them a 22, and then next time you go, give them a 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. So I would start them out on a 22 and progressively see if they will move up at their own pace. If not, in the words of the late, great buddy of mine, I just got to meet him a few times, so it wasn't close, but from Gun Blast, Jeff Quinn, he was absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to steal some of his words. A 22 is better than a sharp stick. So I absolutely think it is. So I would try to gradually move them up as they're comfortable, but starting out the 22, absolutely they should be armed, and absolutely that's not wasting your time. So yes, certainly get them used to it, because if in an unfortunate event their life was in danger, somebody did try to break in on them, they will certainly be glad to have something. Something is better than nothing, and I mean this. You can go back and watch my videos. I've said this for years. This is no agenda for me. I own nothing in any ammo company. I don't care what you buy. You do what's best for you. But I'd always said, and I mean this, I would rather have a 380 that I had with me every day, all the time, consistent carry, than a 45 every other day. Because I don't care what you have at home. If you've got a 50 BMG, if you have a AK-47 with 1,000 rounds or 1,000 magazines with thousands of rounds, but it's at your house, it's useless. It's absolutely useless to you. So it's only good as what you have with you. So having it with you and having something is better than nothing. And don't apologize at all for the long list. I appreciate the questions. I appreciate you thinking enough of me to even ask my opinion. But, the budget thing, I agree with what some of them said here. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You can get a good quality shotgun for a very minimal price. Get you some ammo, train with it what you can. And if you got enough for a light, get you one, but you can get some pretty decent lights. Like Alaskan Ballistics said, the O-Light, or like I said, the Aegis light for very, very minimal price. And, but yeah, like I said, want to make sure you got ammo for that gun. I'm going to try to get into some of these. I've been running my mouth and missing some of these, so I'm going to scroll back up here. If you guys said anything in here and I missed you, I promise you I wasn't trying to slight you. Those cloth Uncle Mice holsters will hold in moisture, wipe it down regularly. That's a good point. Alaskan Ballistics. I've got one that I love that I have had no problem with, and it was cheap, $10. But pay attention because they are different. They are different textures, different materials. A&E Holster Company, great holsters. There's my buddy New York Prepper. I just seen him pop in. I mentioned him earlier. Hopefully, Lord willing, we're going to be on a chat here before long. Again, he's going to be on my channel. He had me on his channel twice, and I certainly appreciate that. And I have a dresser drawer full of holsters. Lou Blaine, I'm telling you, I think me and you probably can. Me and him think so much alike. That's exactly. From $10 to $9, everyone want to work to some degree. Comfort while concealed carry is important to me. You're absolutely right. Me and you think just alike. And I'll be honest with you, I've got a plethora of holsters. Some I really like, some I really don't. Some I use a little while, some I didn't care for. So it's been important to find the right holster. I absolutely agree. New York Prepper says A.E. Nelson holsters. And I appreciate you guys letting me know here. What you think, because you guys have great ideas. And I've not tried every holster. I'm sure there's a lot of good holster companies out there that I've never even tried, never even been around, never even maybe heard of. So any of them that you have, any advice that you've got for any of the viewers on here, we'll put our collective thoughts together. And I appreciate your input. Sheila F., not much to say, just going to sit here and listen. I appreciate you, girl. She has been such a kind help to me. You don't usually say a whole lot. She might say something on Facebook every now and then, but she's always a big supporter, always so kind, always so sweet. So even if you don't have much to say, Sheila, thank you so much for stopping in and helping us. I appreciate it more than you know. I'd want frangible rounds for a 22. That's what Pro Carry Trucker said. There, you can actually get quite a few different rounds for a 22, but I'll just be honest with you. I'm like I said, 22 is better than nothing. But when your life depends on it, I don't care the quality of the ammo or the quality of the gun. It's just a fact of life that center fire rounds are more dependable than rim fire. And I think that's something to take into consideration. If you're squirrel hunting and it goes click and you miss a squirrel, not the end of the world. But if your life's in danger and you have, so that is something to take into consideration with a 22. I have some Uncle Mike's holsters, Alaskan Ballistics. I would say pretty much every gun owner, if you go through their stash, there will be an Uncle Mike's holster. There'll be at least one or two somewhere in the pile. I'll guarantee it. Let me see here. I'm gonna scroll back down here. I'm using my wife's laptop, and I'm not very computer savvy here. But I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Thank you. God bless you all. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I really do. Pro Carry Trucker's got a long way to go. Alaskan Ballistics for instant incapacitation 22 needs to be a neck shot or brain shot. Yeah. Yep. You're exactly right. And even at that, it's not 100%. So I give the scenario years ago where I won't go into all of it again, but you can look it up. Nicky Scarfo, that ran the mob in the Philadelphia mob, one of the things in it bringing him down is he hired a hit on one of his own men. And his men, they got him in a house and they went and shot him twice in the back of the head with a 22. And you can go back and look on the documentary, and it showed where the guy got shot. Well, they killed him, and the guy was able to testify against him. He knew his life was in danger, so he went to the FBI and began to be a witness against him. And so even though you think, well, that's a headshot, that was it, but 22 is still a 22. Now I'm not saying that it won't be deadly or it couldn't be deadly, but what I'm saying is, depending on your life on 22, you kind of got to know the pros and cons. Because had that have been a 357 Magnum with the exact same shot placement, that guy wouldn't have been able to testify. End of story. So that's just something to always keep in mind. I don't want to be gruesome, but I'm just being honest with you. Right, Lou, you're exactly right. I've never seen the point of having someone hurt themselves shooting a weapon. And a lot of times it's not the caliber, it is the weapon. I had a little frame like I was telling you about. It was really easy. I could put it in my pocket. But it's 357 Magnum, had a barrel about this long. It weighed literally nothing. I mean, it was just. But I'm telling you, you shoot that with 357 Magnum, it was brutal. I don't remember anybody ever shooting all 5 rounds. We'd shoot 1 or 2 and be like, you know. But you take those exact same rounds and put in my grandpa's Ruger. He had a big, heavy, big long barrel Ruger. You can shoot all day with no problem at all. So it's not necessarily the round; it's the gun. So you certainly you don't want to give somebody a gun that's going to hurt themselves or I never did think those videos was funny where somebody shoots and the stock comes back and hits them in the face or hits them in the eye, or they shoot and hits them in the head and people laugh at somebody else's. That's not being a good steward of a gun owner. That's not making people want to come to our camp. That just turns people away and it gives them a bad experience and makes gun owners look. So I'm not in that camp at all, unless they are rabid squirrels. You're exactly right, New York Prepper. You got to watch them man-eating squirrels. Walter Bunning, good to see you, sir. Good evening to you, my friend. Ryan Brown, Comfort Tac holsters are nice. Comfort Tac, I guess I'm saying that right. He also recommended them. Walter Bunning, it's so good again to see you. Glad to have you with us. Appreciate you, my friend. And Ryan is giving some holsters here. Smith and Wesson Victory. Also read what Alaskan Ballistics saying here about holsters. Buffalo Bore and 20 makes a 22 barrel load. If anybody did, it would be Buffalo Bore. It sure would. Yeah, you do have to watch about Alaskan Ballistics talking earlier, and he mentioned again about rust on the gun from carrying with the cloth holster. Exactly. If it's going to be in there for a long time, and especially if you start changing temperatures, like you go to a warm environment to cold environment to a warm environment to cold environment in a cloth holster, it can retain moisture. So that is a very good point. Yeah, those man-eating squirrels are dangerous. If you don't know what we're talking about, man-eating squirrels, we've done a video on that where we hunted man-eating squirrels, and it was quite the adventure. I'm going to read a few more of these questions here. I'll try to get to some of these. Somebody else said, I would recommend doing something really general on guns since there are a lot of new gun owners. I would like how to hold a gun, how to aim, how to practice, how to clean your gun, how often to clean your gun, how to store your gun, for beginners. Okay, you guys chime in here as well. Now, when you're saying hold a gun, are you talking a rifle, shotgun, pistol, revolver, whatever? The only thing I have here handy with me is the pistol. Like I said, I usually have one close to me. I don't have it in a holster. But now I don't hold a pistol any different than what basically everybody I know how they hold it. I get as much grip on the gun as I possibly can with this hand, and then my support hand, I bring it in. I'm trying to get this in this camera. Like that, so the whole basic surface of the gun is covered. I get my hand here as high up on what would be the beaver tail, on the beaver tail or the frame of the gun here, the back strap as high as I possibly can, and then like I said, I kind of camp my hand, support hand, and come in just like this, and that is how I hold my pistol. That way the gun can move as little as possible, because the slide, you want to move back and forth. You don't want to have your hand up here where that slide will get you. And I've seen that happen. What will happen is somebody try to cross that thumb over here, and I have seen that, and that slide will come back and it'll bite you. So you don't want to bring your thumb over here. I always put my thumb up here, but have this as high as you possibly can. And I will tell you this, a lot of people don't know this, but you got to be careful, because if you're used to shooting a semi-automatic, then you get a small frame revolver to watch, but having your hand way up here, because around the cylinder there is some explosion and gases and powder that comes out. So you don't want to have your hand way up here on the cylinder on a revolver, but on a semi-automatic, have your hand as high on the beaver tail as you can, not crossed over, but like this. Then support hand, and just make sure when this slide. Let me. Okay, now we're clear. Okay, so now that we're clear, when you actually pull the trigger for new shooters, the rest of you guys know this, but this slide's going to go back. Okay, and it goes back almost so fast you can't see it. It's boom, it's already up and back. So what it does, the force of that round pushes this slide back, which feeds another round. So when this slide comes back to chamber another round, you want your hand high up here. But you can see, obviously, when this comes back, it's nowhere near my hand. So you want a high grip here, but you don't want to do this or, have some kind of, something to this that makes sense. Okay. Keep this clear, but here, and that is my grip. Thank you for the tip, Chuck. I did not know that. I guess I'm not allowed to have that on a live. Oops, shows how much I know. Thanks for the tip. So if I get in trouble, sorry. But anyway, there's a whole lot of questions here. I may. Yeah, Kim, you're right. I'm sorry. I did not know that. So anyway, sorry about that, folks. But anyway, I'll go here as long as I can. Then it's asked how to practice, how to clean, how to aim. Cleaning, I pretty much do it like everybody else. I will use a ballistol, some kind of cleaner, and then I will oil the gun. My cleaning is nothing, probably that anybody else doesn't do. How often do I clean my guns? Now, people disagree with this, but I clean them every time I shoot them. Now, if I shoot it one time and it's just a practice shot, I will come home and I will clean it. I sure will. I store my guns dry, even temperature, whether it's a gun safe, whether it's a closet, whether it's somewhere in room temperature. You don't want to keep them in a moist or a damp area, or somewhere like in your attic or garage if it's not temperature controlled where it gets hot or cold. Ballistol gives me a headache. I can't stand the smell. It does bother me some too, Tim. It sure does. It really does. Alaskan Ballistic says, okay, I may do that. Only problem is my wife isn't here. I don't know if I can get back on. But I may do that because I may have made a strike. I was not aware of the rules, and I didn't know I wasn't allowed to do that on live stream. So I am sorry. But anything else he asked me, how do I store it? How do I clean it? Aim, practice. Most of that's pretty in general. This one says, personally, I'd like to see some more on smaller calibers, 25 ACP, 32, 380. I know a few people, including myself and my fiance, that purchased pocket 380 pistols. There are some good videos in comparison to 9mm, 40, 45, and 370 Magnum. But I'd love to see if there are a lot of good videos on comparison to 9mm, 40, 45, 370 Magnum. But I'd love to see a video on just the 380 and the capability it has as a defense round. Not sure if you have any 380 pistols. I'm a recent subscriber. I watch Paul Harrell, One Shot TV, Kentucky Ballistics, and a few other channels that do some videos on the 380. And even watching the Ammo Quest series for 380 was great info. Personally, I'd love to see just the 380 highlighted to see just good info on it as a defensive round instead of putting it against other calibers that are bigger and stronger. Well, I would love to do that, but I will be honest with you, unless somebody lets me borrow one, I do not have a 25, a 32, or a 380. I used to have a 380, but I traded it for a 9mm. If I can get my hands on a 380 and I can get my hands on some 380 ammo, I would absolutely positively love to do that. I would be happy to do that. I wouldn't care a bit to do that. But as of this moment, I don't have access to one. No, my dad or nobody that I know has any of those calibers. And for that, I apologize. Yeah, I get it, Kim. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for looking out for me here. And that's my ignorance. I did not know. I had no idea. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm not very tech savvy. So if I've done something to get myself in trouble, sorry. But Garrett, so good to see you here. Appreciate you coming in. Webco Local 1. I hate Christian Leitner. If you lived in Kentucky back in the heyday of Kentucky basketball, you'd know why he said that. That's pretty funny. That's been 20 years ago, and he still ain't over it. And I get it. Yeah, it broke my heart. I'll never forget that shot as long as I live. It was a shot heard around the world in Kentucky. He had a last-second shot. For those of you that's not UK fans or don't know, really close game, Duke and UK. Christian Laettner at the very end hits a buzzer beater, and it just broke our heart. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. Walter, I wish you lived closer to me because he casts load and shoot a lot of 380 and it's a lot of utility. I wish you lived closer, man. We'd get together and have some fun. New York Prepper looking out for me here says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I don't mean to be scattered or go here and there, but I'm trying to answer these questions, but I don't want to slight you guys as well. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys stopping in and just chatting with me and just taking the time out of your day to be a part of mine. And I do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. And like I said, Alaskan Ballistics, we done some videos together a while back, and I greatly enjoyed that time I had to him. And just personally, I've got to talk to him a few times. Just a great guy, great channel. So make sure all these guys that have YouTube channels, if you would for me, check out Alaskan Ballistics, New York Prepper, and all these guys, Pro Carry Trucker, any of these guys that's got YouTube channels, check them out for me if you would. Okay, it says, now this is a little bit long, so just bear with me a second. It said, the Kentucky Patriot, I would keep it simple and focus on bug-in scenarios pertaining to what people are dealing with in real life. How to build an inexpensive food stock, water options, heat sources. New York Prepper, this is right up your alley. How to make a homemade Faraday cage, etc. I'm willing to bet there are a lot of new preppers out there who are starving for information. Maybe also if what type of scenarios that relate to what's going on today. What to do when the unprepared get crazy. How to be a gray man. Easy homeland defense ideas. What to do with the National Guard or in the streets. Or these radicals try and jab your kid. I'm definitely not the expert, but those are the type of things I like watching back in 2008 and would still like to see it now. We are getting into this great awakening, and the sleepyheads are going to need your guidance and expertise to get started, especially since none of us know for sure exactly how it's going to play out. We need to get ready for this long, dark winter for sure. Well, again, you probably think too much of me thinking of my guidance and expertise because I don't know how much expertise that I have. But I do enjoy talking to you guys. I will answer to the best of my ability. I appreciate you thinking enough of me to ask. I really do. But I'll try to go through this as fairly quickly as I can. But now Alaskan Ballistics is up there in Alaska. Walter Bunning, I think he lives up north too as well. And then certainly New York Prepper has a lot of this experience. So if you guys wouldn't care to give your thoughts and opinions on this too, I would certainly welcome that. But long story short, how to build an inexpensive food stock. I'll just be honest with you. Just kind of plan ahead and get stuff that's not perishable. It doesn't require refrigeration. It's good to have all that stuff. But if the electric goes down, and even if you say, well, I've got a generator, your probably generator's only going to last an X amount of time. So I would plan for stuff that lasts a long time. And I'm not against MREs, but we've talked about this before, but not just MREs, something that is very good quality of food that will sustain you and nourish you, because MREs are great for a while. But if you're going to try to live for a long time off MREs, it's going to be very unpleasant. So there's a lot of food sources you can buy, a lot of canned foods you can buy. There's a lot of I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like pemmican, pemmican's fantastic. Pemmican is very rich, very calorie, nutrient food, stuff like that. A lot of being able to get your own food. If you do live out in the country, being able to maybe hunt, fish, forage, whatever the case may be. But having a lot of dried foods, a lot of the old timers used to can a lot. So being able to have some of those kind of canned foods, having a lot of resources is what I'd recommend, and realize how much food you will probably go through, especially if you have a family of 4. So you can't have, 10 cans of soup and think, well, we're good. So I would look at realistically how long you think you're going to be and how many's in your family, and not only to have something to eat, but have some nutritional value too, to maintain your health and strength. As far as food and water options, the same way. A lot of guys got a life straw and say, well, we're good. Well, life straws are fantastic for a bug out bag, camping on your boat, in your vehicle, something like that. But you can't have a life straw for a family of 4 and say, oh, I'm good. No, you're not. I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest with you. Life straws are great. I've got them. but they're not the end all be all. You need a water filtration system. You can buy them or you can do them yourself. I recommend those. And don't just depend on rain or your creek water or being able to boil water all the time, because you still need some kind of filtering device, because boiling water may be harder than you think in a crap hit the fan type scenario. Because here's the thing, if you're out boiling water outside and smoke stuff, people, if people's hungry and thirsty, you don't want to put yourself out there, and you don't want to depend on it raining all the time. So I would have several backup plans, because water is certainly important. That is for sure. Bullets and Barbecue, good evening, internet friends. Good to see you. Certainly glad. If I've missed anybody over in the comments, I get busy talking. I've got a one-track mind. So if you've popped in and said something, or if you're here watching, thank you. Thank you. If you haven't said anything, thank you. And the ones that have helped me so much, may God bless you. Appreciate you. Heat sources, absolutely. Absolutely. If electric goes out, if the gas goes out, need to have some heat sources. That's very, very important, especially if the guys like Walter Bunning up north, New York Prepper where he lives, Alaskan Ballistics, those guys. The winters here, you can absolutely freeze to death. It'll get 0 here in Kentucky. It'll get 20s and 30s and the teens a lot. So a heat source here important, especially if you're up north. Absolutely, absolutely. I am not going to act like I know, because I don't. Homemade Faraday cage, those Faraday cages, supposedly, I don't know how to even describe or tell you, because I don't know. That's about the only way I can be honest with you. They say they work. I don't know how to build one. I wouldn't know how to go about it. But what that is like an EMP, an impulse, where they go down the electric or water. You're supposed to be able to build these or have some kind of aluminum foil type, and it'll protect your phone or protect your electronic devices. I'm a hillbilly, hunting, fishing, foraging, defense. I might know a little bit about guns, ammo, that kind of thing. To be honest with you, a Faraday cage is way beyond my scope of knowledge. So that I am sorry. So maybe some of these other guys on here will know more about a Faraday cage. That's not easy question for me, and I apologize. Gray Man, I done a video on that. I think it's a good idea, but I think you can be honest with you. I'm going to say something that I've never heard anybody else say, and I don't want you to misunderstand me, because I wear those. You see me wear those pants all the time. They're kind of like fishing pants, I call them. But I hike in them, I swim in them, I do a little bit of everything. They're very comfortable, and they kind of look tactical. So I'm not against tactical pants, but when somebody tries to look like a gray man, but you almost come off as a military looking man, or you're wearing combat boots and your tactical pants and your 511 pants, and that really isn't a gray man. That almost looks like, you know what I'm saying? That can bring attention as much as anything else. So I think a gray man can be important, but I'm not against, some people's to the point of being such a gray man that they're afraid somebody's going to know that they own a gun or that they conceal carry or anything like that. I totally get the gray man. I made a video on the gray man. I'm not against the gray man. But I think there's probably a lot of other issues and things I would work on that means more to me than probably just being a gray man. Although I do want to blend in as much as possible. That's just my personal opinion. That's just off the cuff, me just telling you how I feel. So I hope that answers your question. And I agree with you. It's absolutely a long, dark winter coming up for sure. So that's kind of like that. Let's see. Some more questions here. I'm trying to run through. What about you guys? You guys chime in here. If I missed something, if I didn't elaborate on something, if I stammered and stuttered and said something wrong, what do you guys think about, home defense, concealed carry, holsters, Faraday, prepping? Like I said, I have a channel, so I speak my mind, but there's a lot of people that don't have a channel that are very knowledgeable, that speak up in the comments, that have some really good ideas and some really good points. So what about you guys here? Alaskan Ballistics, -18 here last week. Wow. Wow. We'll try to come up here and catch up on some of the comments here. Propane heaters. Yep, those are good. Those are good. Garrett, I was busy talking and want to tell you hi, and I appreciate you stopping in. Kim, again, Alaskan Ballistics, Lou, Webb, Local One, New York Prepper, Tim Robinson, all you guys. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I think I just zoomed this in here. Like I said, I'm not the best in the world, obviously, as you can tell. With live chats, with speaking, I stammer, I stutter, I make mistakes. But I do really appreciate this channel, and I just been able to talk to you guys, just being able to, get on here and shoot. And like I said, I don't claim to be an expert. I do not claim to be a professional, but I do claim to really enjoy this, to love this country, to love the Second Amendment, and to get to be a part of the 2A community. It means so much. And a lot of you guys have been so good to me, like Alaskan Ballistics and New York Prepper, allow me to do videos with them. And you guys, Lou Blaine, and and all my friends on here right now have just been so kind. And the comments, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes, I can't tell you how much it means to me. So if you did leave me a question the last little bit and I didn't get to it, please don't feel hard at me or upset with me. I did not mean to slight you or anything. Even if I had yours written down and I didn't get to it, I'm sorry. Leave me another comment. I may do a video on it. I may do another live chat. Like I said, hopefully we have planned after the holidays or after Thanksgiving, except me and New York Prepper doing a live video together. And any questions you have for us, I know that one question was geared toward him as well, about the deer hunting and the hog hunting. So anything you have for us, I would certainly be honored to do a video, answer any questions, do anything I can, any kind of test, or if you just want me to talk about something or share my experiences, or like I said, shoot, be out at the range, anything you'd like for see, we're here for you. I do. I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoy getting to talk with you guys. I've met some of the best people. I've met some of the greatest friends, just from this little small channel. I really have. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. And you guys just leave so many great comments here. And I'm going to try to wrap this up here. But anybody else wants to say anything in the comments, certainly feel free. And again, if you would, just like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. I wish I could tell you how much you really mean to me. And I'm sorry if I was slow trying to read here, trying to read there, and if my answers wasn't real articulate. And if I didn't answer it the way you would like for me to, or I didn't word it correctly, feel free to say, hey, I didn't understand, or you didn't word this right. What did you mean by this? And I'll be happy to try to word it a little better or say it a little bit better. But if anybody else has anything at all, feel free. And if not, I will probably go ahead and try to close this out. But thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Every one of you that's ever watched any of my videos, like, share, subscribe. Bullets and barbecue, that's my kind of stuff. Yes, sir. Bullets and barbecue. That's about as good as it gets right there. But I do. And you guys that took time out of your day to come on this live chat, from the bottom of my heart, God bless you. Tim Robinson from South Florida. It's freezing here. I wish I was in South Florida with you. We'd go we'd go fishing. But appreciate each and every one of you again. Wish you and yours the very best. Hope to see you soon. Real quick question. Hey, thanks for answering my question. I'll give you a shout out in my next video. I didn't realize you had a channel. I am so sorry. As soon as I get off here, I will check out your channel and I will subscribe. I apologize. I did not know that. So Walter Bunning has a YouTube channel too, everybody. So check him out. I'm sorry, Walter. I did not know that. Or if I did, I absolutely forgot. And if I, and I will get on there right now. So yeah, New York Prep. That's what you need to do is take a road trip and go to South Florida. We'll get some sun and fishing, and we'll go down there with Tim and get some sun. But Walter, I will check out your channel. May God bless you. I wish you and yours the very best. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Wish you the best in the holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. May God bless you. The Kentucky Patriot signing off. Maybe.